This UFC legend's mom filed a restraining order against him, and the reasons are bone-chilling.
So I'll explain more to you. You can film if you want. We just have to.
It's not that I want to, I have to. This is kind of weird.
There's some real concern for BJ Penn's mental health. There's some real concern for how did he get to this conclusion.
Former UFC star BJ Penn was arrested yesterday for the third time in 6 days.
Maui police have finally released mixed martial arts fighter BJ Penn's mugshot, and here it is.
The arrest of MMA legend BJ Penn, who just 3 years ago ran for governor and got 20,000 votes.
Tonight, some of Penn's biggest supporters are among those asking him to get help.
This is the legend, the Prodigy BJ Penn, a UFC Hall of Famer, one of the greatest and most respected fighters in MMA history. However, over the last decade, his professional and personal life have been on a downward spiral, and recently it's reached rock bottom. Once BJ was a fighting demon in front of his opponents, but today he's literally fighting his demons, and something way darker is going on in his life. So let's go down to Hawaii and track what's going on with Mr. Penn and find out more about the darker side of his life visible to everyone today. Before going into this rabbit hole, let's rewind for a bit. BJ Penn is a cultural icon in MMA. Born in Hawaii, he was that rare mix of raw talent and pure chaos. A no-nonsense fighter who never hesitated in fighting in higher weight classes in fights where he didn't even have to cut weight. During his earlier days in the UFC, he'd roll into fights like it was just another day at the beach and still dominate. He was a jiu-jitsu prodigy, a black belt in just 3 years, and he made full use of that slick BJJ game in his fighting days. He made his UFC debut in 2001, and the rest, as they say, is history. But today, as we said earlier, we're not talking about his fighting days, rather we're going to the dark side concerning the Prodigy. On May 26th, BJ was arrested at his home for abuse of a family or household member.
Hey, this is all fake. Just be careful. I don't know what we did wrong.
I got nothing against these guys.
His mother, Lorraine Shin, has claimed that BJ has used extreme abuse towards me for over the past several months, and I'm not Lorraine Shin. I killed his family and have taken over his mother's identity, and he wants me to be removed from his home. And that's not where it all began. For months now, BJ has been talking about this on his social media. He's been saying that a woman named Lorraine has stolen his 79-year-old mother's identity to steal his family's fortune. Abile's family, along with the Hawaiian government, has murdered his mom and brother and even sold their $2.5 million house.
Here, look at her legs. She's acting like my 79-year-old mother, but she's not my 79-year-old mother.
Does this all sound as crazy to you as it does to me? I mean, it does sound like the plot of something like Prison Break. Honestly, it's not funny, it's disturbing. We're not watching a rant, we're watching someone possibly unravel in real time. And this rabbit hole goes way deeper. Shin told the police that BJ stole her mail, and she later found it in the back of a vehicle that belonged to her son's friend. This is when the 46-year-old MMA legend denied it was her mail and allegedly grabbed her and shoved her against a car. Shin screamed till her other son, Reagan Penn, came to help. These events led to BJ's arrest. While filing the restraining order, Lorraine said, "I believe my son is suffering from Capgras delusional syndrome. It refers to a psychiatric disorder in which a person holds a delusion that a friend, spouse, parent, or other close family member has been replaced by an identical imposter." She continued by saying, "He believes I'm an imposter who has killed his family to gain control of the family assets. In the best interest of my safety, I asked the court for a 6-month temporary restraining order and have my son ordered to get medical treatment or another source of therapy." This is not the first time he's been involved in a case like this, and who knows, will this be the last? All this seems very shady. BJ is out on bail now, but the judge has approved the restraining order, so he can't go near anyone from his family. But it'll be very interesting to know what else BJ has to say. Now let me reference some previous events to make these things even weirder. In one of BJ's recent videos, he's literally crying. He's talking about being isolated, saying that people are trying to erase him, that he's being silenced. It sounds like a man who knows something's wrong but doesn't trust anyone to help him. It doesn't feel like an act, it feels like a man in pain. Fans are torn on this. Most of the people are saying that BJ has completely lost it. Some are worried about him, others think it's drugs. Some say it's a full-blown psychotic break, and then there's the elephant in the room, CTE. CTE equaling chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Alright, enough of CTE and brain damage. Let's try to understand this CTE. CTE is a brain disease caused by repeated head trauma. You've probably heard about it with NFL players, right? But it's also got a big role to play in the combat sports world, where the athletes are super vulnerable to its effects, especially the fighters who get hit gazillions of times on the head. And to quote an example, look no further than BJ himself. I'm talking about years and years of getting punched in the head, training, sparring, fights, knockouts. This all adds up from all those sessions in the gym plus hard-fought fights, and over time, it affects the brain, causing memory loss, aggression, paranoia, depression, and even hallucinations. So, is that what's happening to BJ? Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. Some of BJ's followers and even BJ himself claim this is all intentional, that he's exposing something big, that his family's been infiltrated, that he's under surveillance. Some even say this is part of a deep state operation. But here's the thing, this kind of thinking is exactly what CTE can cause. Delusions, paranoia, the lines between reality and imagination blurred. This isn't just about BJ, this is a fighter problem. From Muhammad Ali to Diego Sanchez, we've seen combat sports legends fall apart after retirement. It's heartbreaking, and it raises some real questions. Fighting might make you rich and famous, but it can also leave you broken, and BJ Penn, he might be one of the most tragic examples. Let me quote other examples of CTE in the game. One still in the fight game and actively fighting is Justin Gaethje. He isn't suffering heavily yet from his time in the sport, but he's already been slurring his words on multiple occasions. He even admitted he knows that he will likely suffer from some form of brain trauma and has accepted the possibility of only living until 65. Friends, those repeated shots to the head are cumulative, and losing consciousness is definitely a brain injury. And we all know how many times he got knocked out. Age might have caught up, and the worst part, he isn't just losing but taking a real beating. You could see the wear and tear in his speech and in his public demeanor. Here's the real talk. BJ needs help, whether it's CTE, mental illness, or something else. Something is not right. And the longer this goes on, the more danger he might be in to himself and to others. He's still a father, a son, a brother, and yes, a legend, but even legends are human. So now we ask, is BJ Penn a victim of the very sport that made him a star? Has CTE taken hold, or is this something even darker, something we don't fully understand yet? Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure, BJ Penn deserves more than to be laughed at on social media. He deserves understanding, compassion, and maybe a second chance. His terrifying mental decline is a dark look into MMA's future. Once one of the most revered fighters in MMA history, he now finds himself at the center of a tragic narrative. This serves as a sobering warning about the long-term effects of combat sports on fighters' mental health. Just like the stubborn refusal to retire, CTE is defiant. Unfortunately, Mother Nature has not been kind to him, and this will be a story to follow in the near future. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, reach out, there is help. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Has BJ really lost it, or is this all part of a big conspiracy? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you care about fighter safety, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments section. And before YouTube pushes you off in another direction, take a look at the video on your left, where we explore why Belal Muhammad is the most disliked fighter in the UFC today.